Hello there, welcome back to EU4 and France. Last time we declared war on Scandinavia with the goal of, well, conquering some land. And also to bring England into it. We also have a couple of small states here, Frisia, Gelre, Magdeburg, the 13 colonies of England, which we are actually losing against, hilariously enough, because, well, who doesn't enjoy losing against, well, the colonial powers. I might actually have to send some troops up here because we do want to conquer as much of the 13 colonies as we can. Or at least we want to help our guys do some conquering on the 13 colonies. So I have to see how that works out. But anyways, the New World, we're basically in charge here. But as you can see, the English do actually have a troop here that is currently sieging the Antilles. And apparently they also have Antigua, St. Kitts, even the Turk Islands. So I definitely need to get rid of England because they're starting to become actually a threat here in the colonial game. So that's going to be very, very awkward and annoying to deal with, but it should be fine. The main problem here is that due to default upgrades basically being now at full 3, the Star Forts, it takes forever to siege them, and that is mostly due to the 4 level modifier of -7. My artillery is not as good anymore. I need 15 units right now to get the maximum bonus, which means that I need to probably create siege units that will consist of probably 5,000 regular troops and 16,000 cannons, even 4 to 16 perhaps, just to get that maximum siege bonus. So we'll have to see, probably 7,000, 8,000, even 8,000 to 7,000 to 16 perhaps, or 8 to 16 to get 24 stack. I'll probably have to do something like that to actually make this be viable. For now, we're trying to siege Stockholm. We have it blockaded, we have everything here, but as you can see, the 4 level modifier here is just so painful to deal with now when we're starting to approach the late game. We will, of course, also be declaring war on Russia pretty soon here, so I think it's time that we did some fabricating of claims here on Zuzdal, I think. And again, we do want to get Moscow. I'm just slowly but surely mowing them down, closing in on them, if you will. And I'm a little bit unsure I want to deal with Lithuania, but right now they're not actually a threat per se. The only problem is if they actually take Moscow here. So we're going to be taking Yaroslav, Suzdal, these, we can actually just go 2 more wars and then we'll be in Moscow. I'm very tempted also to fabricate a claim on Tver, because then we can just take Moscow and basically cut Russia in half in our next war against them. So I think we might be going for doing just that. We also conquered Lucca in our latest war, and we added it all in under, or basically we added 2 of the provinces in under Genoa, with the Popey taking Siena here, I believe. Yes. So we might have to consider actually going to war against the Pope to just conquer the land that he should not have. Rome is fine, but we're not going to let the Pope have anything more than that. I'm also very tempted to take Naples here, but the cost of coring this thing is just going to be tremendous, so I'd rather not. I still have an open ideas bot, basically. I'm very tempted right now to pick economic ideas, basically, to boost my economy even more, allowing me to field more troops, etc. The autonomy bonus is going to be nice, the maintenance modifier is going to be nice, not to mention production efficiency, and minus 20% to development costs for, well, my provinces. I still miss 5 points on Paris, and that's basically another 1,000 admin points or diplomatic or military points that I will be using to improve the city. So we'll have to see just what happens there. But for the time being, we'll just allow time to pass, I think, and we will prepare ourselves for war against Russia. Most of the Russian forces actually in Perm, which is very interesting because that means I could potentially just use this fortress here in Viatka to completely block off the Russian forces once and for all, and potentially trap them over there, which would be amazing. But for now, we're just going to continue the war here, and we'll see how things turn out. Should be interesting. If something interesting happens, I'll show you. If not, we'll just allow time to pass. And I'll probably just have to deal with the English colonies one way or another. Potentially, I'll just have to go for blocking England in Oxfordshire, and then we'll just see how we want to move from there. But for now, as I said, we'll allow time to pass, and we'll see what happens. We are basically now at the maximum amount of admin points here, which is, well, kind of bad. I have to decide what I want to do with the points because, as you can see, next time we'll get administrative efficiency, which basically means that minus 25% coring costs, which is going to be hilariously good to have. And due to this, I don't really want to spend too many points. We're probably just going to wait a couple of years, get this one early. And we also, of course, have the next level military tech to worry about, so we can't really waste any points there. I don't really want to get the complete more of the administrative set here right now. I could potentially do that. You know what, I should probably do that. We have -10 here to admin tech, we have more advisors, mercenaries, and goods produced. So potentially actually completing this could allow me to use a mercenary siege army to save my manpower. So I think we'll probably do that. Benefits for mercenaries have been unlocked. -33 to mercenary maintenance. But yeah, I think we'll probably do that. I think that could actually be helpful here. So we'll have to see how this pans out, but it could definitely work, I think. But for now, we'll continue the war. As you can see, the Siege of Norfolk has just completed, which is good. And with that, we will destroy the English armies here, and we'll take Essex and Oxfordshire as well. I will definitely take Norfolk here, as it has a fortress, and thus I will not have to siege it next time, in terms of the English. And I'll probably actually send this army to the New World, along with the fleet, to actually deal, if you will, with the, well, enemy in this case. There is actually a fortress in Gotland, so I don't really know if we want to go and siege that. It's actually a... They're actually building the most, well, highest classification fort. I really should actually hire a general right now, just because of the fact that I could potentially get a good one. I have, as you can see, almost 60% army tradition, so odds are that I will get a good general. But I don't really think that would be too prudent on me, considering that I am currently behind in military tech, and next tech is actually quite, well, important, if you will. So we'll have to see on that. I'll send my fleet here to join up with the rest of the fleet, and I'll see if we can actually bait them into attacking me, and then lock them into Shelland or something and then destroy them there. But I doubt that will be, well, possible. But we'll just have to wait and see here what happens. But as I said, I think that should be possible. So for now, I'll just wait, and we'll see how things end up here. We can do an upgrade here to military tech, and we're of course going to do that. We're going to get the cartridge, level 22 military tech. With that, we get combat width increased by 2. Cavalry 5 by 0.5, artillery 5 by 2 points. That's going to be very, very good. Artillery shot by 0.10, and we can have a cohorn mortar and build conscription centers. So the cohorn mortar should, well, alleviate a little bit of my pains. But let's see, if we build a conscription center, as you can see here, it will increase my land force limit by 2. Now, in terms of force limits, I don't really have any issues. It's more the manpower now that's taking a hit due to the long sieging periods. But with this, I think we can challenge this Scandinavian army, just bait it into attacking us in unfavorable terrain, if you will. And then I can just pour all of my troops into it, and that should lead into their destruction. I'm going to place these guys in Stockholm, because I'm pretty sure they will run that way, potentially. So I'm going to, as I said, try and bait them to attack very, very soon. But for now, we're first sending a ship here with a 24 stack to the New World to conquer the English provinces there, and then we can continue dealing with our problems back at home after that. So Naples just declared war on the Pope, which is an interesting debacle to say the least. I think I do have a casus belli on the Pope, but I also have a truce. But other than that, I could potentially, as I said, go to war on the Pope, to take these 3, hand it to Genoa, and potentially then take Romagna too, and then go for the annexation of Genoa. I should probably do that already, to be perfectly honest. I think it would be for the best. We have Croatia and Hungary too, of course, but we can feed them after our next war here with Austria. The next war with Austria will happen in, as you can see, 83, so we have 5 years to prepare. I think we're going to be able to fight a war against Scandinavia and England, and then another one against Russia, and then we basically have to get ready for our war here against Austria. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see just how, well, the future changes here. But for now, we're sending our troops overseas, and we'll see what happens after that. It also seems that my worries against the 13 colonies here were unfunded, with basically, as you can see, the French Canadians, the French Mexicans, basically beating them here and taking the provinces, which is good. The only real concern is the island provinces, which we will now basically complete. As you can see, we're taking back a lot of them right now, which is very, very good. And of course, we're also going to just siege Antigua and Saint Kitts, and of course also the Turks Islands here. And we're going to take that back because, as you might imagine here, England is basically going down, and they're going down rather quickly. We also have just good news here. I didn't actually pay too much attention here, but we actually have an invading army here that needs to be pummeled into submission, and of course we'll do that. It's just a matter of time here. But with that said, for now I'll go back to waiting. I'll deal with these guys, and I think we might as well just go ahead now and try and lure, well, provoke, if you will, an attack here from my Scandinavian brethren, and hopefully, yeah, that could work. They're not actually attacking, which is interesting, in a bad way, because if I do this, how do you feel then? I think I can take that loss of 10 diplomatic power. Or yeah, now they actually moved against us here, so we're going to make it a little bit interesting. 28th of November, 27th. 28, 28, 27. There we go. Then we're going to blockade the strait, so they'll actually have to run up to this army here, I'm pretty sure. Of course, this is going to be an interesting battle. Let's just be perfectly certain here. I'm putting 70,000 men. Technically, should be a little bit more than that. We got a crossing penalty, which is basically alright. It's due to King and Holland, as you can see. The river flows between them, which means that I'll get a crossing penalty, sadly. But again, I have just so... Well, I should have quite a superiority over my enemy here. But even so, we did lose twice the amount of troops here, even though we were, well, wastely overpowering them. I have no idea if these guys are just going to Black King here, but it does definitely look like it. Yeah, they did just go to Black King here, which means that this should result in a wipe. There we go. Finally, something that actually went my way. And with that, we'll split up our troops here and go for, well, some more brutal sieging, if you will. We'll place these guys in Midtjylland, because that was basically the brunt force, or most of their forces dead, which of course is a very, very good thing. The fleet here will be sending to pick up our troops. They've done their jobs, basically. And with that, we'll send them to take the last English island, and then I think we could make peace with England. The Mexico treasure fleet, well, did get some inflation from that, but that's fine, I guess. Park there, if you please. And we'll go after the Turks here. Oh, I get 350 military power. Le voir. Michel Letellier was the son of a councillor at the account chamber appointed by Prime Minister Cardinal Mazarin. He was named Secretary of War in 1643. He started the needed reformation of the French army and war administration as a minister till 1666 and chancellor till 1677. His eldest son, Marquis de Louvois, I think, continued and perfected his reforms and offered his master, Louis XIV, the largest and best army of the last half of the 17th century. So, yes. Apparently here we were lagging a tiny bit behind. Well, not really, considering it's 77, but he just popped up now. I think it's because I lag behind a military attack, to be perfectly honest, because usually I tend to get those events, if you will, before their time. So it's a little bit interesting that for once here I was not ahead, but rather behind, if you will. I find that very interesting and a little bit intriguing, to be perfectly honest. But we'll take a chance here. We'll set our king against the Gallery, East Frisian and Magdeburg army. We do want Calais back. And funnily enough, I can't actually, well, get close to any of those places. Midtjylland's harbour is where? There it is. So we're blockading it right now, which is good. I think I'm just going to leave those 24,000 men to it, and we're going to move the rest of the guys back home here to protect the fortresses. Now, England, how are you feeling about a peace deal here? We have 98% against you, so let's see. If I want to get you to give me the colonies in question here, how much will that actually cost me? Let's see here. Norfolk, White Mountains. I think that's most of it, and we already have colonial nations for it, so it won't really be that bad. I do definitely want that island too, and of course here, since we're dealing with England, we will be taking the fortress in Norfolk. That is a given, and potentially Oxfordshire too, Essex perhaps. Yes, I think this will be basically the deal. In terms of aggressive expansion, as you can see, the only one who gets really pissed at me is the 13 colonies, because we're basically eradicating them from, well, the Earth. But I do want to wait for this little siege here to be done before we do anything, and I think that's going to be the end of the episode here. We're going to make peace with our enemy, and then we're going to see how it went. Well, we did fight a battle here in Calais, and as you can see, we did destroy our enemies utterly for once, so that's good. It means that my army is finally starting to become the army that I wanted to begin with, and we'll just have to see if we can actually keep that up or not. But yes, England is definitely ready here to make peace with me. We are going to take the Turk Islands as well, and I'm tempted to force something else upon them, but I think this is for the best. We don't really need to take anything else. I do still need to get rid of them, and they'll be down to two provinces right now, so it shouldn't be that bad. They don't have anything in Eastern lands today. Can't see anything more red, so in theory this should be good. So let's just go ahead, make peace with England, and as you can see here, we lost the colonialism Gaz's ally, but yeah, this is basically game over for them, I think. And I'm a little bit unsure if I actually want this fortress anymore now, because I don't really need it. It's a level 1 fortress, and this is level 3 one, so I think we're just going to destroy this castle. But yeah, England still doesn't actually hate me too much. As you can see, that gave me 24 aggressive expansion with England. So I wouldn't be too concerned in terms of aggressive expansion with, well, basically the rest of the world. Now, the things that I need to core here are not too much. There's actually another red here. But as you can see, it's just this one province here that wasn't actually completed yet. That's the only real concern currently from what I just took. The rest here is, as you can see, Essex and Norfolk. Excuse me. Which are easy to... excuse me again, core. But yeah, it looks good now. We are going to continue this next time, and we'll see how things pan out then. Thank you for watching. Please have a comment, praise, criticism, and do you feel like, and I'll see you around next time. Bye.